52 frames, week 13. Theme was line from a song, and yeah, I really wanted to do something for this one. Tons of songs were in my head. Most of them had some clearly articulable theme that I could do. It was really just trying to narrow it down, pick something that was doable, executable, and as usual, my work-life balance got in the way of that. But here's a sampling of some concepts I went through.
It's all over for the unknown soldier. Soldier boy, made a play, now an empty jail. 21, only son, but he served his will. Like a bridge over troubled water, I will lay me down.
So this week I had conflicting objectives. I had to prepare for a 10-mile race and also capture this picture, and there were a lot of different locations I wanted to try to hit. So ultimately I ended up combining the two. I did about an 8-mile run starting at Roosevelt Island, which is technically in the District of Columbia, although most people would probably consider it, you park in Virginia. So parked in Virginia in Roslyn, ran across to Roosevelt Island. This is where I did some of the under the bridge shots looking at the Roslyn skyline. I'd scouted this location before. This was going to be my number one pick. This is what I thought was going to be the shot. I knew I was starting kind of mid-afternoon, so I knew when the first couple of shots would be too bright. The sky would be real blown out. So I was thinking either black and white to kind of negate that, or at a minimum just kind of set up my locations and know where I wanted to shoot, knowing that I was going to end the run at the same place and I could try to get more of a sunset shot. So I did that. I did a loop around the island. On the southern tip is where I got the pictures of the Memorial Bridge, which goes from connects Arlington Cemetery to Lincoln Memorial. Following around, went past the Kennedy Center, saw some ducks and some kind of wildlife-y type stuff before I made it to the north side, and this is where I got a picture of the Key Bridge with Georgetown in the background. So the two bridges were on the bridge under troubled water theme. So then at that point I crossed back into Virginia, ran across the Key Bridge, and here's where I kind of knew I wanted to get some shots. So there's a big intersection where the Key Bridge comes into Georgetown, and there's the C&O Canal beneath it. There's lots of walkways and trails, etc. So I knew I could get lots of pictures of bridges. There's bridges across the canal, there's the Key Bridge, there's the various roads that all connect there. So there would be just bridges everywhere for me to take pictures of. This would be more along the line of the Red Hot Chili Peppers Under the Bridge theme, because it would be graffitied and more industrial and that kind of thing. So that was kind of my number two spot. I thought I'd get some pretty good pictures there. I didn't necessarily have one particular picture in mind. I'd been through the area a number of times, so I was kind of familiar with what it would look like, but ultimately didn't have an exact photo in my mind. And then I also headed down to the Foundry Branch Park, which is not quite a mile away. There's a tunnel that goes underneath the C&O Canal, which just looks very, very creepy. Even at midday, it's pretty dark and gloomy. So, and it's definitely graffitied up. So also part of the under the bridge theme. And then I'd never actually been back into the Branch Park, so I knew just from running along the road that there was a old railroad truss that kind of came across there, I didn't know if it would work with the pictures, or maybe I can think of a song after the fact. But yeah, kind of urban decay theme. So went in, took some pictures there, came back, basically followed the C&O Canal. I dropped down under the Whitehurst Freeway. So there's a elevated freeway that goes along the waterfront there in Georgetown. So the whole metal industrial, feel, lots of I-beams and that kind of stuff. Unfortunately, it was just too pretty. It was very gentrified, nice area, and lots of parks and people playing. And it just didn't. I didn't have a good picture on that part. I was thinking it'd be a little bit worse. There's a junction where the Rock Creek Park meets that, and there's like 5 or 6 bridges that all come together. So that was also on my list. My problem I ran into there is there was so much tree growth, etc., that you couldn't really get a good unobstructed shot. It looks pretty in person when you can your eye can kind of scan around, but I couldn't get a good vantage point where you could quickly see in the photograph what was going on. It was too hard to see. So ultimately, I ended up. I took a couple pictures there. I ran along past the Kennedy Center, looped around the Lincoln Memorial. Got a couple of pictures of that. Got a couple of pictures on the Memorial Bridge. Then ran back to the Roosevelt Island to get the final kind of sunset Roslyn skyline. At this point, I had maybe half an hour or so before sunset. It was still relatively cool outside. It wasn't super hot, but the sky was just really overcast. It wasn't giving me a lot of color. The longer I sat there, I just ran 8 miles, so I was all hot and sweaty. Then I start sitting still for 30 minutes and quickly got cold. So I suffered for my craft. I sat under the bridge and waited for the sun to get good, and ultimately none of those pictures I thought were worthwhile. So I fought the good fight, but ultimately it ended up not working. But it was a fun trip. Ended up using the photo from Georgetown, and went with my under the bridge theme.